Well, the Tea Party, like any large new group, is facing some stumbling blocks, namely funding and how the group should move forward. But their message remains clear: small government, low taxes, and conservatism. Well, can these principles, though, turn the group into a real political powerhouse? Let's bring in Congressman Tom Price of Georgia, the chairman of the Republican Study Committee, and former Texas Congressman and Fox News contributor Martin Frost. Always great to see you. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on.
Thank you.
Congressman Price, let me ask you first, should Republicans embrace Tea Party movements, you think?
Well, I think this movement grew up because of a frustration with big government and government intervention in the lives of Americans, and so it inures to the benefit of the party that's not in power. But I think also that the Republican Party philosophy is much closer aligned to those individuals who have associated themselves with the Tea Party movement. So absolutely, we ought to embrace their ideals because it's smaller government, lower taxes, and more individual responsibility, those things that Republicans believe in.
Is there any risk involved, though? I mean, Congressman Frost, hardcore conservatism backfired, as you remember, just 3 months ago, in fact, here in New York in the 23rd District, with the moderate Republican and the Conservative Party candidate canceling each other out, which allowed for a Democrat to take that congressional seat. So should Republicans be a little weary of third-party candidates come 2010 elections?
Well, Julie, this could go either way. First of all, you could have the Tea Party people going in the Republican primary and electing, nominating people very far to the right who can't win a general election, or you could have them running as third-party candidates. But the bigger threat is that people like Tom Tancredo, who spoke at the Tea Party meeting, the first speaker, really spoke for bigotry and prejudice, and they can't let someone like that be the voice of this movement. What Tancredo said was that Barack Obama was elected by people who couldn't spell vote. And what was he talking about? Was he talking about Hispanics? Was he talking about lower-income African Americans? They can't permit that type of face to be the face of their party and their movement. If they can keep it on economic issues, they've got a chance of having an influence.
Congressman Price, let's just talk about Congressman Tom Tancredo's comments. As Congressman Frost just pointed out, he said that, you know, President Obama was elected because of people who could not even spell the word vote or say it in English. So, you know, is there a risk here that these extreme candidates are seen as a party of racists and potentially could alienate themselves?
Well, that's not their mission. Their mission is smaller government, lower taxes, and greater individual responsibility. Can you control everybody that speaks? No. But the mission is to make certain that we elect individuals, that they elect individuals that respect the Constitution and that will embrace those fundamental principles. And again, their fundamental principles are much closer to those of the Republican Party than they are of the Democrat Party that's now in charge and has brought us the greater intervention of the federal government than most of us have seen in our entire lifetime.
Look, Julie, the problem that they face is they may get captured in some states by people who want to privatize Social Security, people who don't want to teach evolution in our schools. You had all kinds of people show up for a movement like this. And my only point is if they can keep it on economic issues, as Congressman Price has indicated, they've got a chance of being a real influence. But they're a new movement. They invited Tancredo to speak. It wasn't like he just showed up. So they better be careful about who they put in the spotlight, or they could become marginalized very easily.
Congressman Price, you know, everybody knows here Republicans are in line to make significant gains this fall. But what do you think? I mean, couldn't their gains be reduced if the Tea Party movements result in extreme candidates winning GOP primaries?
Well, that's why you run the race. But what I see out of the Tea Party movement are individuals that are very concerned about the future of their country, and they're angry about the intervention of the federal government out of the Democrat Party in charge right now. And so what I believe they will do is positively move forward and select individuals or assist in selecting individuals to run for office who love and respect the Constitution, who want to see smaller government, who want to see greater individual responsibility. And if that's the case, then we'll be just fine and things will move forward in a positive way and we'll be able to have those checks and balances in Washington that we don't have right now.
Congressman Frost.
The proof is in the pudding. Once you start encouraging all kinds of peculiar people with peculiar views to start showing up in Republican primaries, you can't control who the ultimate nominee is, and you can't make sure that the nominee just speaks on economic terms. This is a risk for this movement. Maybe they'll be successful. I'm not dismissing them. I'm not saying they can't have an influence, but this thing could go the other direction for the Republican Party also.
And is that something Republicans are worried about, Congressman Price?
Well, look, there's a risk on the left, there's a risk on the right, but we're a diverse society. The fact of the matter is the vast majority of the American people are angry with their federal government right now and angry with the intervention of the government into the daily lives of individuals, whether it's through taxes, whether it's through takeover of private companies, whether it's through a health care system that's been proposed that will make very personal decisions for individuals. And so this is their outlet for their frustration and their anger right now. I think it's a positive move because it gets more people involved in the process.
The more people who take part, the better, quite frankly. But angry people can say some very strange things from time to time, and this is a risk for the Republican Party. We'll just have to watch and see what happens.
I also want to make clear, you know, a lot of Republicans will say, and many people maybe don't realize, that there are many more independents at these movements, not just conservatives who are among the American people who have said that they have had enough. These Tea Party movements have obviously backfired for a lot of conservative Republicans. Unfortunately, comments like Tancredo's did not help. But what does any, I guess, fracturing of the organizations reflect, Congressman Price?
Well, I think it reflects the grassroots nature of the organization. But as Carl Cameron said, this isn't the Tea Party convention. This is a Tea Party convention. And the grassroots nature is demonstrated by the fact that there are others who say, look, we can't get there. This isn't what we would have done. So what you see is this entire movement literally across the land that are very, very frustrated with the future of our country and the direction that they see it going. And they believe that, as appropriate, they ought to get involved in the process and engage and elect individuals that they believe will move it in the right direction.
I got to go, but Congressman Frost, I want to be fair, give you the final word.
Yeah, my guess is you're going to see more situations like you had in the 23rd District in New York, where you wind up picking someone who can't win a general election.
All right, that is all we have time for.
I know that's Martin's wish, but I don't think that's what's going to happen.
Have to happen in New York, in a very conservative district.
That is true. We got to leave it there, though. Thank you very much, Congressman Frost and Price. We appreciate you both coming on.